What's up, you guys? FlintEW here, and today I've got a sorcerer build for you guys that mainly focuses on frost skills. To start this build off, let's go to our inventory. In our armor, we're going to want to socket rubies. In our weapon, it'll be topaz, and in our jewelry, it'll be diamonds. Moving on to the aspects and the uniques. For our helmet, we're going to have the Godslayer crown, which says when you stun, freeze, or immobilize an elite enemy or damage a boss, it pulls in nearby enemies. You deal 48% increased damage to them for 3 seconds. This effect can only occur once every 12 seconds. In our chest, we have casting ice armor, makes you unstoppable and grants 30% increased armor for 4.6 seconds. For our arms, we have the frostburn arms, which say you have up to a 20% chance to freeze enemies for 2 seconds. For our pants, it's Tibalt's Will, which says you deal 38% increased damage while unstoppable and for 4 seconds after. When you become unstoppable, gain 50 of your primary resource. For our boots, it's Penitent Greaves, which say you leave behind a trail of frost that chills enemies, and you deal 10% more damage to chilled enemies. For our weapon, which is a two-handed weapon, we have skills deal up to 20% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. Moving on to our amulet, we have you gain 1.5% increased armor for 4 seconds when you do any form of damage stacking up to 90%. In one of our rings, we have you deal 26% more damage to immobilize, stunned, or frozen enemies. In our other ring, we have you deal 6% increased damage while you have a barrier active. Moving on to our enchantments. Now that we're on enchantments, for our first enchantment, we're going to choose the Frostbolt enchantment, which says direct damage from skills applies up to 25% chill. For our second enchantment, it will be the Ice Blades enchantment, which says for every 33 seconds in cooldowns you spend, you spawn an Ice Blades on a random enemy. Moving on to our skill tree. Now that we're at the skill tree, let's go down to our basic skills. For our basic skill, we're going to choose Frostbolt, 5 out of 5. Then we'll upgrade to Enhanced Frostbolt. Then we'll upgrade again to Flickering Frostbolt. Moving down to our core skills, we're not going to choose a core skill. We also won't pick up any passives. Moving down to our defensive skills, we're going to choose Teleport, 1 out of 5, no upgrade needed. Then we're going to choose Ice Armor, 5 out of 5. We'll upgrade it to Enhanced Ice Armor. Then we'll upgrade again to Shimmering Ice Armor. Then we'll also choose Frost Nova, 5 out of 5. We'll upgrade to Enhanced Frost Nova. Then we'll upgrade again to Mystic Frost Nova. Then we'll also pick up the passives Elemental Attunement, 2 out of 3. The passive Glass Cannon, 3 out of 3. Moving down to our Conjuration skills. First, we're going to choose Ice Blades, 5 out of 5. Then we'll upgrade to Enhanced Ice Blades. Then we'll upgrade again to Summoned Ice Blades. Then we'll pick up the passive Precision Magic, 3 out of 3. The passive Align the Elements, 1 out of 3. The passive Protection, 3 out of 3. Then we'll move down to our Mastery skills. We're not going to pick a Mastery skill, but we will pick up the passives Icy Veil, 3 out of 3. Cold Front, 3 out of 3. Snap Freeze, 3 out of 3. Moving down to our ultimate skills, we're going to choose the ultimate skill Deep Freeze. We'll upgrade it to Prime Deep Freeze, then again to Supreme Deep Freeze. We'll also pick up the passives Permafrost, 1 out of 3, the passive Hoarfrost, 3 out of 3, and for our key passive, we're going to choose Shatter. Moving on to our Paragon board. Now that we're at the Paragon board, let's get down to the bottom of the board here. The starting point, looks like I moved up through the right side, got the socket, put in Territorial, and kept moving straight on up through. I'll let you take a look real quick. Then we ended up adding on a new board called Icefall, and we ended up socketing the glyph Frostbite. I'll let you take a look. Looks like I kind of branched off to the left and right a little bit, but mainly kept going straight up. Then we ended up adding on a new board called Enchantment Master, and we ended up socketing in the glyph Conjurer. And it looks like mainly went to the right side through most of this, and then branched off to the left to add the new board. And the new board ended up being Elemental Summoner, and for the glyph we ended up socketing Enchanter. Let you take a look. This one we kind of picked up pretty much everything on the board. And then we'll go back down to the beginning here one more time so you can see. For the glyph socket, it was Territorial. Let you take a look. Then we ended up picking up the board Icefall for the second board. We also put in Frostbite for the glyph. Let you take a look again. Picked up most of the things on the board, but not all of them. Then for the next board, it ended up being Enchantment Master. And we ended up putting in the socket Conjure. Moving on to the next one. And the final one, we ended up choosing Elemental Summoner, and we put in the glyph Enchanter. Final look at the board. Well, that's it for the build, you guys, and good luck out there.